Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to a HotMic watch party. Tonight we are doing the first game of the NLCS. A bit earlier, we did game one of the game two of the
Game two.
ALCS, where the Rays are now up 2-0. Where after their victory over the Astros, and we have now got the Dodgers Braves game one on our hands. Um, and thank you, everybody, for joining us wherever you are. Matt, you ready for more postseason baseball?
Yeah, I'm excited. First game with fans this year. Two best teams in the NL should be good.
Yeah, I think that this is that. Yeah, first game with fans is really amazing. We had one of our writers, Will Arvin, is actually at that game, obviously masked up and following the proper safety protocol. So make sure you stay safe, Will, and he may actually be joining us at some points today. Maybe, maybe not. We're not 100% sure. But either way, it is refreshing to get some fans back at a baseball game. It's some sort of normalcy. It's really nice to see. Obviously, I don't know how many Dodger or Brave fans you've got there, given that the game is being played, I believe, in Texas, or it's being played in Arlington, Texas, not Houston. So definitely a weird time. We have a NLCS game being played in Arlington, Texas, between the Braves and the Dodgers, neither of which are neither of which play even in the time zone. So it's definitely weird, but two great teams for sure. It's a great pitching matchup. The Braves have shut out their opponents 4 out of 5 games this postseason. The Dodgers also basically dominated the Padres. So we've got our first game, and first game with fans, and it's a great matchup.
Yeah, and as you said, the great pitching staffs, great offenses, two best offenses, I think, in the majors, definitely the NL. MVP candidates both sides. Should be a fun series, fun game.
Yeah, speaking of MVP candidates, which one do you have taken that NL MVP? Betts or Freeman?
Personally, I think Freeman's above Betts this year. He's been ridiculous that September, October he's had. I mean, it's crazy. But I mean, Betts has been good too out in LA. It's really just pick whoever you want out there.
Yeah, I would agree. I would also go with Freeman. I think that the only person who I could take over Freeman in the NL would be Juan Soto, but I completely understand people's arguments that Soto just did not play enough games. But Soto had a 200 weighted runs created plus. He was quite literally twice as good as the average player. He was just unbelievable. So he's definitely someone. It was definitely a great year for Soto, and you've got two, like you said, MVP candidates playing today between Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, and this is going to be a great series. Matt, who do you have in this series? What and in how many games? What's your prediction?
I think the Dodgers are going to come out just, they've been the last 7 years or whatever it is, they've won the division, can't quite get the World Series, finally have, Mookie Betts got the whole roster there, and I think this is the year they break through and get it. So it's going to be a good series. I think Dodgers in six, though.
Yeah, I think I would probably also go with that Dodgers in six prediction. I think you just can't count the Braves pitching out to not take a couple games here.
All right.
But this Dodgers team is just unbelievable. I mean, their pitching does take a bit of a kind of tiny fall off after 1-2, but so the Braves does even more probably after going to Kyle Wright. But today I think we could be in for a very quick game because I think that these pitchers are just going to dominate. As like I said, Bueller gets a pop up for his first
First
out.
pitch. Yeah.
One
Good
pitch,
pace
one
right
out.
there.
Yeah. 27 pitch game for Bueller he's on pace for. Um, this Dodgers offense is just ridiculous. They've really just built just.
Yeah.
It's not even, you can't make an argument for any team being even on their tier. because they're as well run as a team like the Rays are, except they will spend money, and they
Right.
have. So it's
Yeah.
just it's really unbelievable. I don't see how anyone beats them, but I mean they've claimed Kershaw, who's still elite, slinging game two, and they have a
Right.
solid bullpen, and their offense is bar none. I mean, it is really ridiculous the team that they built.
There are no holes in this
No,
team. They can do anything, and they're at the top with analytics. They're at the top with players. They mean they've got everything you could want in an organization except for that recent ring. As Freeman sends one, and well,
did you get it? Bye bye.
I was I was hit well.
Yeah, the long
First
ball, baby.
first fan to get a home run right there. It looks like there's a
Yeah,
tape off for the first couple rows, and he hit it past that.
first souvenir of the year.
Yeah,
That is amazing that fans finally getting the first souvenir. But how about Freddie Freeman putting one in the seats?
yeah,
A boom sauce from the Freddie Freeman. He wants the NLCS MVP too.
yeah.
Jeez.
And obviously, the postseason doesn't affect the regular season MVP, but one of
Oh
the
yeah.
best pitchers. He's showing why he deserves that regular season MVP.
No, especially two strike pitch just turned on it. They were saying before the game that Freeman just dominates high velocity fastballs, which most guys, don't, because catching up to a pitch that's over 95 miles an hour is insane. And I
Yeah.
still don't understand how these guys do it. But
And I was actually looking into that for the game, and Walker Bueller has the second best fastball by Baseball Savant's pitch arsenal stats and run value, second best fastball in the majors. But Freeman has been the best hitter against fastballs in the majors. And it looks like
battle of the
Freeman got
strike.
round one.
Yeah, nice play. So Joe Buck doing the NLCS this year.
Let's see.
That's the same exact spot as the Mike Brousseau home run that knocked my Yankees out that I'm still not getting over. I haven't accepted it still. But
And you mentioned the high velocity fastballs. That was 97.3 fastball right there, and went out 112 miles an hour off the bat.
the harder they come in, the harder they go out.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting to see because I believe in the NLDS at this stadium, there weren't very many home runs. It was playing as a big park.
Yeah,
But
that was a big complaint from fans that they just did not have I mean that it was just killing some balls. But Freeman, at some point, if you can hit it far enough, the stadium doesn't particularly matter.
right. And Star knows at the plate now. He's had a monster postseason so far.
Yeah, if there was a NLDS MVP, he would most definitely be taking that home. He was fantastic against Miami,
Yeah.
and the first round against who they play, Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
So
Yeah,
coming into the game, Freeman had faced Bueller 7 times. One hit was a home run, but got him again right there.
yeah. Listen, man, I definitely feel like I'm rooting for the Dodgers for the sole purpose that it would just be so beautiful for the two and the Rays in the AL, for the two most analytical teams in baseball, bar none, to be facing off in the World Series because just as another point of proof that they work and that math is good.
It's always a good reminder. But yeah, definitely. I think one for that reason, and two, as a Nats fan, don't really think I could root for the Braves here. It's tough to root for the Dodgers, but better than the Braves.
This is the, and I think we're definitely not robbed here in the NLCS. This is very easily the two best teams in the NL. I don't think that anyone would argue that any of the best teams did not advance in the NL. And honestly, outside the Yankees, I don't know if there's really an argument in the AL either. I think that the Astros, while they struggled in the regular season, that offense is just ridiculous. I don't know how someone could really argue that the Astros did not belong there.
Yeah, in short season you get small samples, but they're definitely still a good team, the same team that made the World Series through the last 3 years. Whether or not it's legitimate, that's a separate thing. But they definitely good players.
I think there definitely is an argument out there that, and it's, I mean, and it is basically, it's true that this is the one sport where you don't have the best team advancing all the time. It's not the one sport, but it is. It's rare for the best team to win a World Series. Honestly, like it's not it's the playoffs are such a crapshoot in the MLB. It's a 5-game set or a 7-game set, or this year a 3-game set that anything can happen. I mean, the Marlins made the NLDS. I like the Marlins, but they had a negative run differential in the regular season. Then they went and made the NLDS. It is really insane.
Yeah, just baseball's so random. The best teams never win more than 110 games in a 162 game season. Now we're shrinking that all down this regular season in the playoffs, 3-game series, anything, even 5 and 7 game series, a lot of stuff goes weird.
Yeah. So through half an inning, the Dodgers lead 1-0 over the Braves lead 1-0 over the Dodgers. Sorry, I was a bit all over the place there. But yeah, this is a great series I think we've got on our hands for sure. No questions yet in the chat. So Matt, how's your day been?
A lot of classes today. 5 straight hours of that, but happy to get some baseball at the end. How about you?
It's worth it. It's been good. No school today for the Indigenous Peoples Day, but getting the again, like you said, baseball capping it off is always absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really amazing just like where we came from, like the beginning of the season, where we just really, really wanted to get any sort of sporting event. And I mean, the last month or so has just been an insane amount of sports. I mean, we had the finals, we had the U.S. Open, we had the Stanley Cup, we had the MLB playoffs now, and football starting. It is just, it's beautiful to have right now.
And obviously, it'd be nice to have more fans. We got some fans now, like full stadiums for all this, but take anything we can get at this point.
Yeah, honestly, seeing fans in the stadium is just very refreshing. Not seeing cardboard things, little cardboard things up, is just very nice to see. Really, really makes me happy. But so now the Dodgers come to bat with Cody Bellinger batting sixth because they can do that with their lineup.
And that's
I mean,
ridiculous. I mean,
this
former
lineup is
MVP just.
this lineup is obscene. I mean, Pollock, Hernandez, Taylor, 7 through 9 is ridiculous. I don't know what. I mean, the only team I could think of that has a 7 through 9 that even matches up really would probably be the Yankees. But even them, I don't know which one I would take over. I mean, that is insane. You never get a break. It's not like
Yeah.
once you get through one guy, then you got a couple Z outs.
No, you got to be
And this
best
guy,
stuff all game if you're Braves pitchers.
and this guy is one of the hardest outs in the lineup, Mookie. I mean that the Dodgers adding Mookie this offseason was just like what are we doing here? Like making
Yeah.
every team making the Dodgers better.
Becoming almost a super team. I guess, I mean, they are a super team.
They are a super team, yeah. You've got multiple MVPs still playing at MVP caliber on the same team. It's just
MVP on the pitcher side, too. And future Cy Young winners there, too. An all-time great closer. It's just unfair.
Luke is down 1-2. This has been such a crazy season. Which seems like a pretty obvious statement to make, but my goodness, after everything that's been going on this season, just to be able to get to an NLCS is just. After the Marlins had that outbreak in August, I was certain. Nice pitch by Freed. I was certain that we were not going to see the end of the season, but I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see an NLCS.
Yeah, between the Marlins, the Cardinals later, all that just didn't seem like it was going to happen. And now they're having fans in the stadium for the playoffs. So come a long way since then.
Yeah. Batting practice made that idea seem a bit iffy with people just kind of all over each other during batting practice. I guess they weren't enforcing social distancing guidelines during BP, which seems like an odd thing to do.
Yeah.
But hopefully everyone staying safe, as Ryan Rudy chimes in on fans, saying fans in stadium bad. Would not. I mean, I don't know if it's a great. It's not a good idea. Like it's it's so nice to see, but it's not like anything has really changed since the beginning of this season that would make it feel like fans in stadium are okay, especially with lately cases seem to be going up across the country. So I don't know if it was the smartest move by the MLB, but I mean they did it, and now hopefully everybody stays safe. What are your thoughts on the fans, Matt?
Yeah, and like you're saying, not much has changed. I don't really think it's a great idea, but sitting at home, it's nice to see people there. Just safety-wise, I'm not sure how great a bubble specifically for the playoffs, and then they brought fans into the bubble that thinking there doesn't really line up. So I don't know. Another nice pitch
it seems
there.
like they don't really get the point of fans in the stadium. I mean the point of a bubble.
Right.
I feel like a bubble is, bubble, like secluded, no other people. And then saying, let's invite in a few thousand people seems like it kind of hurts the point of the bubble.
Right.
But hopefully everyone's staying safe because it definitely is refreshing to see people at a baseball game. But, I mean, hopefully just everyone's adhering by the safety guidelines and there's not going to be any outbreaks via the MLB playoffs. But regardless, hopefully next year we can get back to this to a normal, semi-normal way of life where we can have some fans in the stadium and we don't have to use MLB The Show crowd noise anymore.
Yeah. And I don't have the sound on for this game, but I think it'd be interesting to see if they are still using that crowd noise because there are fans there, but not enough to really make it feel like a playoff game, I would think. So it might
Well,
be a
I mean,
mix of both.
definitely not. Probably not enough to make it feel like a playoff game, but there definitely is the. I mean, if you watch some of like the football games, well, which have had more fans than baseball will have, just because the stadiums are just bigger in football. But a lot of these football games have had fans at 25% making a whole lot of noise. So like a good amount, an amount. I mean, I was watching the Giants Cowboys game on Sunday, and the Cowboys were struggling a lot in the first quarter, and those fans were letting them know. You heard the boos throughout the stadium. It was a sense of normalcy. Hadn't heard anyone being booed in a while.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, like Ryan says, there probably aren't that many Dodger Braves fans in the crowd right now. It just doesn't make that much sense. I mean, just with everything going on, for people to travel from LA or Atlanta to to go to a baseball game in the middle of Texas just doesn't seem to make the most sense. So I feel like and tickets were not going for that expensive. So I would be surprised if they are, or what's the word? I'd be surprised if the fans there are really loyal fans
Right.
to the other team. Just kind of people who are like, hey, let's go watch a baseball game because we can, and the tickets are like $40.
Right, which would be another factor in how loud the crowd is,
Yeah,
reacting to hits and stuff. As
yeah,
Justin Turner with another hit there and puts him at 4 for 5 career against Max Fried now. So he's definitely had some success there.
So Muncie's now up against Fried. At the very least, they're making Fried throw a lot of pitches. He's at
Yeah.
18 now against Muncie, which is, he's been so dominant for Atlanta that if the Dodgers can get to their bullpen pretty quickly, that would be a big plus for them.
Yeah, and the bullpen's been pretty good in the playoffs as they've had, 4 out of 5 shutouts.
Yeah.
But that's definitely weaker than their starting pitching, or at least when Fried's on the mound.
Yeah, and once you get to the bullpen, all you need is one guy not to have it.
Right.
So, like, Fried, there's a better chance of one of 4 relievers not having it than Fried not having it. So, if they're able to get him out through the 4th or 5th inning, that would be pretty significant.
Yeah. And 7 games in 7 days, getting to the bullpen early, it's going to have long-term effects on the series.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I'm really not a fan of the whole 7 games in 7 days. I think that
Yeah.
if they're going to do it, just telling teams 2 weeks before the playoffs started, 2 weeks after the trade deadline is just
Yeah.
malpractice by the MLB. It just, how do you tell teams that the way that I mean, in the end, you don't build a team for a 7-game series, but you kind of have to have it in the back of your mind because the overarching goal is to win a World Series. And how do you tell a team that big part of that goal, which is building a great bullpen, now you have to add another 3 relievers? It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And a lot of the decisions I feel like that have been made surrounding the season, maybe you didn't have another choice, but they haven't been so great in alerting the teams on what the rules changes with enough time to change their rosters, to
Yeah,
change their philosophies. But
yeah. The league, out of the 4 major professional sports leagues, the 2 leagues that have been just switching things up and trying to figure everything out on the fly, which is the MLB and the NFL, are the 2 leagues that did not go into a bubble.
right.
And the other 2 leagues, the NBA and NHL, have been relatively. They got through their playoffs relatively easily. They went into a bubble and they figured everything out. So I mean, that's the difference in the end. I think, but that is just That's just the bubble was the biggest thing, and it's tough to ask the MLB to go into a bubble because it's the sport. It's not a sport where you can just find a bunch of fields
Right.
all over the place. Like their baseball fields are kind of tough. Same with football fields. They're not like basketball courts where it's super easy to just play a bunch of games. But I don't know. It's just, and also they didn't already have the regular season under their belts like the NBA and NHL had. But hopefully next year we're able to get a better everything. Hopefully COVID's at least tempered down a good amount, and hopefully we can just get through a relatively normal season.
Right. And we're seeing a similar thing in the NFL now as we saw at the beginning of the MLB season, where teams are coming down with clusters of cases and they're postponing games and rearranging bye weeks and all that sort of stuff that, you wouldn't want to see normally. And the NBA, NHL got away without any cases. But now the sports not in bubbles have had a lot of trouble with that. Freed's got Will Smith down 0-2 here. Got a chance to get out of the inning without any damage. If he can make a good pitch. There it is, strikeout. So Freed gets out of the first with the Braves still in front 1-0.
Definitely a big out because if you just don't want to go down obviously against anybody, but going down against this Dodgers team is just
Yeah.
you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
They're shut down guys top to bottom. It's really unbelievable the team that they built, and them, and like we were talking about earlier, the Rays have just fully proven that the way that you win championships is pitching, and the Nationals proved it last year. I
Yeah.
mean, Nationals, it was their starting pitching, which is obviously, I feel like starting pitching has been for years what people have pointed to, that you just got to get a good rotation. And I definitely think that starting pitching is still just as important because you need strong starts. But if you can build a bullpen like the Rays have, well, I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at the Rays against the Yankees during Game 5, they threw a starter in Glasnow for 2 innings. And then it was just their bullpen for the rest of the game, and they held the Yankees to 1 run, and it was just one bad pitch Nick Anderson threw. I mean, it is genuinely unbelievable how
Yeah.
these teams can just consistently build these teams. I
And
mean,
if you have an elite bullpen, you use it right. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that teteam. And the Rays have been
yeah,
proving that. So,
yeah. I mean, Josh Hader's I don't know why I just said Josh Hader because I was trying to bring something into it about Josh Hader being available. Some teams think this offseason, but I just said his name. But yeah, so when teams are looking this offseason, it's not a great starting pitching market. It's a solid relief market. Liam Hendricks is a free agent, and after he's coming off
yeah.
2 dominant years in Oakland, Blake Trinan too.
Yeah.
But um, but I think Josh Hader would be the prize jewel of this offseason in terms of pitching. Because I think if you can get a guy like Hader, you shorten your games by at least 2 innings, maybe 3. Because he's been arguably the best reliever in baseball for a few years, and he's goes multiple innings, which is the biggest thing.
Right.
Closers nowadays, a lot of guys can only throw, say, 20 pitches on a single day, which is not, which is fine because, yeah, which is fine because you just need one inning. Your job is to get 3 outs. But when you can get a reliever who can almost act like a second starter and give you 3 innings, and you can just trust him to go out and just dominate, it is huge.
Yeah.
But
Especially.
the problem with, what were you going to say?
Yeah, just saying, especially, with Hader at an elite level, and you're confident that he can get through those innings without giving up a lead and, getting either to the closer or as the closer those last couple innings. It's a nice asset to have.
Yeah. The only scary thing about when you build your team based on your bullpen is if one guy doesn't have it, you can lose the game. And that was, I'm not going to say that Aroldis Chapman didn't have it during Game 5. He was pitching well. He just couldn't put away Brousseau. But, that's the risk you run. All the Rays pitchers ended up having it because they just, I don't know, it seems that they always do.
Right.
But, if the Rays went a bullpen game, but if one of Fairbanks or Anderson or Castillo just did not have it, they lose. It's not that they got lucky. Most of the time, those guys have it. And especially, I think a team like the Rays kind of got lucky that this was such a short season. Because if you were using those guys for 162 games, all of a sudden you add 3 times the innings on their arms, and they may not be as consistent come playoff time, versus only having 60 games, which is probably like, 20 innings or so on their arms because they only pitch once every 3 games or so. So like, it just makes them so much more fresh, and it makes them so much more dangerous. Because a lot of relievers, starters too, but especially relievers, just start to not have it as this season comes to an end. It happens a lot. So having so few innings on their arms is a huge reason that the Rays are doing so good right now.
Yeah, for sure. And, as the season goes on, like you said, you got more innings, you got a higher chance for injury, but now they've had enough time to warm up, get through spring training that they didn't have, maybe use the regular season as that, and hit their full stride right as we're hitting the postseason.
Yeah, 60 games was kind of the perfect tune-up for these guys. It feels like, because they didn't have, like you said, they didn't really have a spring training. They didn't really have the time to get their arms going. So now that it looks like Adam Duvall may have done something to his groin there. But yeah, so like now you don't have to worry. Basically, you just don't have to worry about a significant portion of the league. So now they're able to get warm instead of having all these innings on their arm. They have a perfect amount of innings on their arm. They're tuned up, and pitching has been fantastic. It's just been a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of pitching injuries, and you're seeing it throughout all the sports that just have not had the time to have a preseason. In the NFL, obviously, you've seen a ton of injuries of guys who did not have a single preseason game. So, as fans, we kind of hate those tune-up games because we're just like, we want to get to games that matter, but they're very important in terms of just getting everything going for these teams. So, yeah, hopefully we don't see any more injuries as this season progresses, as we may have just saw one with Duvall who says groin injury.
Looks like he's headed to
he's
the
in
clubhouse.
a good bit of pain.
And
yeah, he is definitely leaving this ball game. So that's a pretty big loss for Atlanta.
Big loss for sure. He's had a good season. He had a 3-homer game, I think, and pretty good year overall. It's going to be a big loss to the bottom of that order.
Pash is looking like he's going to get some swings in now. and try to face Walker Buehler with two strikes on him, which is a pretty tall task. It's hard enough to face Walker Buehler, and now all of a sudden you say, okay, now you have two strikes on, and you go.
Walk in off the bench, first pitch you see, and could be called out right there. It's a tough assignment.
Don't miss. Can't exactly take a strike.
Yeah.
Looks like, according to the Twitterverse, it is a lower back injury for Duval Notagoin, which can be better or much, much worse. So
Yeah.
hopefully everything's okay there and he's able to come back tomorrow for game 2.
We got a 21-year-old coming in here to take his place. Rookie. Let's see stats. So he had 4 plate appearances during the regular season, looks like, for 2 games. And got 1 hit. So not a huge sample size, obviously, but now he's playing game 1 of the NLCS against one of the best pitchers in the majors.
That's a bit of a tall task, I'd say.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever wore pants as tight as Walker does? Peyton wants to know. I don't believe I have. I prefer to have a little, what do you call it?
Breathing room.
Breathing room. So the answer is no here. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, no. Surfed some tight pants. Though. Not sure how comfortable that is in the Texas heat. But looks like Patrick works to walk there. Just coming from a 1-2 count to walking right off the bench is impressive.
That is, yeah, that's huge. Just huge for him, honestly, just being able to get off the bench and go, like you said, facing one of the best pitchers in baseball with 2 strikes on you. That's a impressive task from Pash. So who does that bring up? But Nick Markakis. Markakis was supposed to not even be in this season. He wasn't in the season for the beginning. He was out in he opted out of the season due to COVID reasons. So he's now back, and veteran bat, former longtime Oriole.
And none of the Braves have really had huge sample sizes against Buehler in their careers, but Markakis has had the best results. 2-6 with a homer coming into. So, see how he does here with the runner on. And Buehler's already up to 32 pitches, just 4 outs. That'll be something to keep an eye on.
Nice pitch. That was a dirty curve to get Markakis.
Yeah. And ball bounced for the plate, I think. Still got a swing and a miss.
Just drops off the face of the earth. That is really unbelievable.
That graphic they're showing is crazy. I mean, it looks almost the exact same as other pitches and then hits right before the plate.
That's insane. I mean, it is really, it's not appreciated enough how hitting a baseball is basically far and away the hardest thing that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
Like, it is just ridiculous.
Well, pitch there. Puts a runner in scoring position. Change to the Braves to add on their lead, which definitely going to need to do at some point. One run's not going to win this game.
Stay in? No. Here you go. Yep. I mean, he very obviously went, but I have a significant issue when home plate umpires call swinging strikes on
Yeah.
check swings. Like, it is just so dumb because they do not have a great view of that. And there's
And
literally a guy whose job it is to watch for that as Bueller gets Riley on swing and minutes and works out of a jam. But, like, that is just, I will never understand that.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree. I mean, home plate umpires should be watching the ball. They're bad enough as it is at calling balls and strikes. They don't need another thing to be
Yeah.
watching with the bat. Let the first base, third base umpire, whoever do that.
Like, there will be close plays, and I'm like, and they'll take it into their own hands, and I'm like, you just don't have the best view for that. It's not your call. Like,
Right.
why not ask the guy whose job it is to watch to see if he went? Like,
Yeah.
I'll never, 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 never understand that. So an inning and a half done in Arlington. I was about to say in Los Angeles, but that's not
Not quite.
the thing. So 1-0 Atlanta. Definitely but both teams working out of a jam early would have been significant to get some runs across the course there for Atlanta. Obviously, trying to gain as big of a lead as you can off of Walker Buehler, and then handing the lead to Fried, which I've noticed. I think I noticed this year the most that the difference in the way guys, like especially elite starters, will pitch with nobody on. I mean, during a tie game or up only one versus how they'll pitch up two. Like, even just that one extra run changes
Yeah.
their approach completely because they're no longer scared of giving up a game tying or a go ahead home run.
Right.
They're just way more aggressive. And when guys are aggressive, especially when you're like elite guys like a Fried or a Bueller or DeGrom or Cole or whatever, they'll just, they pitch their best aggressive because they'll just fire it in and say, okay, I can hit 100 miles an hour, try to hit it. Like, they can just bet on themselves way more. And it is a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, and they're able to challenge players with, like you said, not being afraid of giving up a game tying home run. You pitch much more freely. Um, but interesting in that inning, not a single ball put in play after a couple hard hits in the top of the first. We had 3 strikeouts and the walk.
a 3 true outcome dream.
Yep. We've already had the home run also. So.
Beautiful pitch there. The Dodgers really are just they are the best indicator of just you don't need like there are people who go and say the Dodgers should fire their manager or their GM because they haven't won a World Series. There could be a great play there. Wow.
Yeah. It's a nice diving play
That's
by
stop.
is that Albies? Yeah.
But you still have the best indicator of who the best team in baseball is, or who the best teams just in general are, is the regular season. It's the biggest sample size. It's the number one way that you need as many games as possible to try to prove that you're the best team.
Right.
So a best of 5 or best of 7 series that the Dodgers haven't been able to win the last couple of years doesn't make them worse than the team that they lost to. It means that they didn't win a fluky game as much in those series when they had to, and it doesn't mean that that okay they need to now tear it all down, right? It's nowhere near that. They're still a great team, and they didn't. They stayed true, but they were like, okay, let's add, the second best player in baseball to try to get us over the edge, and that's exactly what they did because they can, and that is absolutely insane.
And really, other than the 2018 World Series, which they lost in 5 games, they've been pushing series to the end. They lost the 2017 World Series in 7. Last year, the NLDS in 5. 2016, they lost the NLCS in 6. And then 5 games again in the NLDS in 2015. And it's just, when it comes down to one game, sometimes the best team doesn't win. And the Dodgers have been on the wrong side a bunch of those times recently.
I mean, that was far and away my biggest issue with this whole that was far and away my biggest issue with the best 2 out of 3 whole situation, because then you're trying to go best 2 out of 3 in an best out of 7. The best team does not always win. Best team, it's like basically 50-50. But when you go best 2 out of 3, you're just saying that you do not care at all if the best team wins.
Yeah.
Like, the Dodgers won their 2 games against the Brewers. I don't think there were any ridiculous upsets except for the Marlins, but they're very easily, because baseball is such a fluky game, we very easily could have had the Brewers advancing in the first round. Right. It could have happened. If you play a best 2 out of 3 series 10 times in a row, the Brewers are going to advance at least once.
Yeah.
So, I just think that expanding the playoffs or doing something like that would just not be a great idea, because you're just asking to make this already fluky sport and an already fluky championship even more of a crapshoot.
Yeah, I completely agree. And adding that extra round, telling a team this year in 60 games, but if they keep it next year, you could have a team win 110 games and then they're out after 2 games because, one of their players went 0 for 3, which is completely common and fine in a 7-game series, but it might cost you your entire season in a 3-game series.
So it's 0-2 with 1 out with Kike Hernandez at the plate. Freed at 40 pitches now. Well, we'll be at 40 pitches very, very soon. He's at 38. This will be his 39.
Fourth strikeout already. And
that spinning curveball is disgusting from Freed.
Dodgers have put 3 balls in play. All 3 have been over 100 miles an hour. So when they're making contact, they're hitting hard. It's just missing a bunch.
Yeah, that is. Oh, I feel like there's a lot at this point of pitchers that we basically see like that they give up a good amount of hard contact, but they strike out 12 guys every day. So really, who cares as long as it's not going out of the stadium? They don't walk guys and they strike out a lot. That hard contact is just not that bad because of the amount of bats that they miss. And you take a few hard hit balls, and some of which are going to be base hits, over a. I mean, you take that because you're going to get a guy who's going to strike out 15. So utility man Chris Taylor now up.
Another long inning here for Freed. Pitch count climbing close to 45 pitches.
Dodgers definitely making him work and loses Taylor. That's the last guy. I mean, Taylor's a solid hitter, but that is not the guy you want to lose in this spot.
Yeah.
Bring up Mookie Betts.
Walk the 9-hole hitter on 4 pitches. You got to face Mookie Betts now with 2 men on.
That is why I'm a firm believer that you just basically line up your team based around. I mean, you line up your batting order just based around basically the order of your best hitters. Like Mookie is just such a good hitter that you want him to get as many at bats as possible, regardless of the situation. Like nobody on, no one out, you're fine with having him up. 2 on, 2 out, you're fine with having him up for sure. And that's the latter situation we're in right now. So this would be a big at bat for Freed.
And I think more and more teams are moving towards that strategy, as analytics are getting more involved, where you have your best hitter hitting first or second, as opposed to the old times when you'd have them hitting 3 or 4, just so they can get that extra bat. I mean, you see the Braves, they've got Freeman batting second. With the Nats, Soto is batting second for some of the season, just trying to get your top players as many at-bats as you can so they can help you out. This Betts flies out here.
Out by Freed.
Yeah,
huge jam to get out of there. So through 2, Braves up 1-0.
And even that ball, which wasn't hit 100, hit 98 and had an expected batting average of 550. Another hard hit ball. So
yeah, they're putting good wood on Freed. Just a few flyouts, and it's really amazing because like we were just saying before about the strikeouts versus the hard hits, and even a ball that's hit hard, you still will. It's still an out, like about half the time. Right. So another reason that you'll take that because a guy gives up 10 hard hit balls, 5 of them maybe like between 3 and 5 of them are most likely going to be outs.
Yeah, and yeah, sure. Who do the Braves have up this inning to the top of the order?
Yeah, Riley may last out, so let's see if the Braves can tack on a couple more against Walker Buehler, his second time through the order.
Yeah. Cunha, Freeman, and Ozuna, not much tougher do-ups you could have in major leagues.
No, that top of the order is ridiculous. Just so dangerous.
It'd be interesting to see the second matchup between Buehler and Freeman if he goes back to that fastball, which he throws, I think, like 54% of the time. But Freeman is so good against it, he might have to go secondary pitches.
Yeah, like they were saying before. I mean, Freeman he hits those high velocity fastballs. So let's see if he tries to get him on the breaking ball or I don't even know what. He's such a tough hitter to face. It's just there's no right answer when you're coming against him.
Yeah.
So Ryan Rudy, the fantastic Diamond Digest writer who was on the earlier HotMic between the Astros and Rays, asks where does Ozuna go this offseason? I think
It's a great
Ozuna was
question.
he was some get by the Braves. No one really. I mean, he struggled in St. Louis, and people just kind of stayed away from him from a good amount of this winter. And now he's obviously back, and he's been fantastic. He's one of the best hitters in the NL this year. So he's going to be he's going to be a hot commodity this year for sure.
And I think the DH in the NL this year definitely helped the Braves out. He was signed before that, I think, but it was a
Yeah.
huge boost to not have to put him out in the field every game. As far as where he ends up, I'm not too sure. I know Nats are looking into a outfielder at some point. Could be him. I don't know what he's looking for, but I would not be opposed to that as a Nats fan.
Yeah, I think that he would be a very good fit in Washington. He'd be a good fit most places. I mean,
Yeah.
there are very few teams that have either no DH or a hole in their outfield that you would not want to be filled by Marcelo Ozuna. But also, who is the next Braves 1 year contract revelation after Donaldson and Ozuna? I mean, that's another good question. It seems like the Braves keep getting these guys for 1 year prove it deals, and they prove it. And I don't know. I could see, and I said that I think the Yankees should be the ones doing this, but I could see James Paxton going somewhere on a 1 year deal because Paxton definitely did not. He will not be going out and earning what he should this offseason because he's coming off of an elbow injury, and in the 3 or 4 starts he made, his velocity was down in the low 90s. From I think his average fastball went down from 95 to about 91. So that was definitely alarming. So I could see the Braves taking a flyer on a 1 year deal with him, and then he'll most likely have like a -5 ERA there, and then he'll go back on the market. So the Braves just keep seeming to find these guys.
Some other free agents, I think Nelson Cruz, free agent this offseason, right? And
I
he's
think so. Yeah.
40, but as a
I mean, he's
DH,
still. I don't know how you don't give Peyton -5 ERA exactly. Yeah. I mean, Cruz is really unbelievable. I remember when the Orioles signed him to like a 1 year deal like 6 years ago.
yeah,
It was like, does he still have it? And then he's put together like 5, 6 years of just fantastic. I mean, he's just been unbelievable.
I think
Like
he's close to the AL lead in OPS this year. He was there for a while. I don't know where he ended up, but he's still hitting.
yeah. Obviously he can't. Um, obviously he can't field, but
Right.
with both leagues taking the DH, I think. I mean, I think that there's 29 teams that or 30 teams that are going to be suitors for him this offseason. I mean, who wouldn't want Nelson Cruz right now? He was unbelievable again. Like you said, he's 40 years old. He'll be 41 by next year's postseason. But despite that, he's had almost 1,000 OPS in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, I mean, he's been downright unbelievable. He's hit at least 37 home runs every single year since 2014, besides this year, every single normal year. And this year he had 16 in 53 games, which is fantastic. I mean,
Great pace.
he's a freak.
Yeah.
And it's kind of insane that I'm looking at his numbers right now. His first through his age 32 season, he wasn't this. I mean, he had a couple fantastic years. His 2010 with the Rangers, he had a 950 OPS, but he wasn't this insane hitter. And then somehow he found something after he turned 34. And since 2015 with Seattle, it wasn't even with Baltimore, it was Seattle that I was thinking of. But no, yeah, it was ball. He went to Baltimore for 1 year, and then he went to Seattle. I
Yeah.
remember he went there for a year. But yeah, since he turned 34, he has a 933 OPS. Like, it's insane how he's full on one of the best hitters in baseball. He's a hard out. I mean, it's not just pop. He has a near 400 on base percentage yearly. I mean, he's a freak.
Yeah.
And he's getting better. His best year of his career was in 2019.
Yeah, and once you get to that age, there's sometimes a steep drop off, but he clearly hasn't hit it yet. Just you got to figure out what it is.
He's progressing. I mean, he's not. I don't see a scenario where he retires before he turns like 45. He's
Yeah.
still a. He's not just like a okay hitter at this age. Like, he's a great hitter. Like, he is a dangerous middle of the lineup bat. It's really unbelievable how good he's been for so long.
There's a hard grounder that looks like something Muncie at first mishandled. Still got the out, but
They've
lost
had
a chance
two
at two.
that
Yeah.
early. Yeah.
Another hard hit ball. But yeah, he should have had that anyway. Lifted his glove a little early. See, Peyton says Duvall's done for the year. Is that official now?
Yeah, it
That's
makes
tough.
sense.
In an LCS game to lose a player like that. But
Left oblique. Oof. So that is not so. I mean, those oblique injuries take a long time to recover from, and obviously he only has 2 weeks. So
right.
not surprising that Duvall is done for the rest of the 2020 season. Big loss for Atlanta. For an Atlanta lineup that is, after that first third, definitely takes a bit of a drop off. So losing Duvall just increases that. The Travis Denard can be, for some reason, one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. That would be pretty impressive. Well, he's not catching for them, is he? He's at first now, right?
Not sure about that.
It's unbelievable that Travis Denard was so bad with the bat with the Mets, and now in Atlanta, he's just been fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's catching
Seems like
tonight.
that always happens. He is catching that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was him or Riley. Yeah, I mean, that seems to always happen to them. That's just every time they can get they have some talented guys, and then those guys do terrible in New York, and then they say, okay, let's move him over to let's put him literally anywhere else, and they become and possible NLCS MVP.
Right. I mean, that's what happened with Justin Turner, isn't it? Out with the Dodgers now. Couldn't hit when he was with the Mets, and then perennial all-star now.
The list is so long of players who It's so long of the list of players that go to the Mets are either bad or okay, and then they go anywhere else and they are just dominant, or are dominant somewhere, then go to the Mets and are terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Edwin Diaz, who has been very, Edwin Diaz has pitched. His peripherals are very good with the Mets. It's just insane that his ERA just continuously takes a gigantic. He just blows a lot of games with the Mets, regardless of how he pitches. Because the Mets roster, I would argue that their roster is just as good, if not better, than any team in the NL East. Like,
Yeah.
I think that team is ridiculous. Their bullpen, I think, is the best in baseball in
On
terms of
paper,
talent.
it looks good.
Yeah,
It just hasn't
on
been
paper,
there when you play the
yeah.
games.
Their offense is good, and their rotation was their worst thing this year. When they get Syndergaard back, it definitely makes it a lot better. I mean, losing Zach Wheeler was a huge hit for the Mets. That was the worst move. Not bringing back Wheeler was the worst move they made. But the Mets are going to be big spenders in the new Steve Cohen era, and it may start with JT Realmuto. Maybe it looks like they're going to be in the market to poach him from Philadelphia, but they need pitching more than anything. I think that the move is
Could look for
Realmuto's,
Bauer.
but I would not give Realmuto $200 million. I've seen that was the rumor that he's looking for that. I don't give him anywhere near that because he's a 30-year-old catcher, and he will not be a catcher. I mean, he's a great hitter, but his best quality is that he's defensively just unbelievable behind the plate, and he's not going to be a dominant fielding catcher for that much longer. Catchers don't
Right.
last that long behind the plate. So he's going to move to first base most likely at some point, and that the moment he moves to first base, his value takes a huge hit because everything that he brings defensively, he goes to a less valuable position, and he loses his framing ability, his pop time, his arm. I mean, his blocking. It is so big.
Yeah. And if you're talking about a team like the Mets, it's got Alonso over at first. And obviously it's a few years away because Real Muto is still going to be catching for a while. But if you sign him to a long-term deal, you got to think about what you're doing at the end of that deal. If you're just going to have a bunch of bats and nowhere to play them. So with Duvall out for the rest of the year, think about who the Braves are going to bring up to their roster. See suggestion of Camargo, but I don't really know the Braves roster too well. Have any idea who do you think they're going to add to that roster?
Yeah, I don't either, but Camargo definitely seems like a good bet, and that's a nasty curve, but for free that he just keeps on using. Um, yeah, Camargo seems like a good. That's just, I mean, it is a huge loss.
Yeah.
That's I don't have the most confidence in this Braves team against the Dodgers because I have no confidence in anybody beating the Dodgers ever.
That's
But
fair.
you know, I that's a huge loss.
Here comes Turner, who had a single first time out. One of the two hits they've had off Reed so far. But pitch count's getting high, but hasn't given up much damage. So good job by him so far.
He's at 50 pitches, got Seager on 4. So, at this point, if he can get through this inning pretty quickly, he should definitely be able to get 6 or so innings out of him and then hand it off to the bullpen. I mean, he is just this Braves team has given up to this point. They've played how many innings? This has been. I want to do some math in my head real quickly. 1 minute. Thanks.
I think they had a 13 inning game, right? And
Yeah,
4 9 inning games.
yeah. So they in 49 innings, they've given up runs in 3 of them. And actually, you add the 3 that they've played so far today, almost 3.
Yeah.
Then 52 innings, they've given up runs in 3 of them. I mean, this pitching staff has
It's ridiculous.
just been unbelievable.
I mean,
They
postseason
work into it
ERA
now.
showing on the screen, postseason ERA under 1 through 5 games is, I mean, that's unheard of.
That is genuinely insane. If they get through this, I think it'll be about a .86, assuming that all the runs against all 5 of the Marlins runs were earned, which I'm not 100% sure about.
I think they were.
Yeah, so I mean this pitching staff has been unhittable for Atlanta.
And there's another one. Another strikeout for Fried. So we get through 3 innings here, 1-0 still, Atlanta. But so far, it's lived up to the pitching matchup this game is supposed to be. You know, both teams have good offenses, but these aces are dealing.
Is this the first game at Globe Life Park with fans ever?
I think so. Yeah.
Even more history being made in a insane season.
Yeah.
Probably not the opening night that the Texas Rangers were hoping for when they built the park and when they got ready to reveal it. Probably was thinking it'll be in April with 100% capacity and the Texas Rangers will be playing a game.
I think they assumed that they'd be playing, not
instead of an
teams.
NLCS game 1.
But, you know, that's what this year is, I guess. Bunch of unexpected events.
Yeah. That is for sure. So 9:20 is the time. We are a third of the way through game 1 of the NLCS. Dodgers trailing Atlanta 1-0.
We got 5, 6, 7 for the Braves, top of the 4th.
Bueller falling behind a bit to Albies 3-1. Bueller's at 61 pitches now in the top of the fourth inning. Obviously, I think that the Dodgers bullpen worries are not as
pulled that foul.
Just foul. You know that these fans are just not as into it as a normal playoff game because I have the crowd on a little bit of volume, but not everybody in the stadium said, "Oh!" the moment that ball was hit.
Yeah.
The thing I miss the most about fans is watching on TV and watching a very routine pop up and watching half the crowd just get super excited for a second.
Center fielder will be running in towards second base and like 40,000 people cheering like it's a home run.
Second baseman makes the play, and they're still saying, "Oh, I just had it." So, 3 from Bueller.
Good battle here.
Dialed it up there. Blew it by Albies.
5th strikeout. As they show, Dodgers of the last 8 years, crazy regular season run. They just haven't been able to get it done in postseason.
Yeah, it's just I mean, there's the argument that they're chokers and all that stuff. I mean, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's not like basketball. Like basketball, I genuinely don't hate an argument if you're going to call a team like chokers. Like the Clippers not making the conference finals ever, despite the teams they've had, that's choking because the best team usually wins a single game. Like if the Knicks are playing the Lakers 10 straight games, I'm taking the Lakers every single day. Like, I would bet on the Lakers going 10-0 before I bet on them going 9-1. But baseball you just have no idea on any given day. So you can call the Dodgers chokers if you want. I mean, they're not winning a championship. It's not great, but they're as long as you're putting a team that wins 100 games fairly easily in the regular season, I will never critique how that team's being built.
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, there's a reason it's normally 162 games in the regular season, and you can't simulate that in a 7-game series. The best team doesn't always win.
I think that there was a study done that basically best team advance rate for the MLB to have the best team advance rate of the NBA is 7-game series. It would have to be like best of 78 or so.
Yeah.
Like the best team does not advance in the MLB. I mean, sometimes they do, but there's just as good of a shot of the best team advancing as there are not advancing, basically.
It's another walk from Bueller. It's his 4th walk already.
And not the sharpest day from Walker Bueller. Walker in the name.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a bad joke.
And that's his second 4-walk game of this postseason. And coming into this year, he'd made 7 starts and had not allowed 4 or more walks in any postseason game. He made 6 games and had not allowed 4 or more walks. And he's done it twice in 3 games this year. And actually, he's only done it twice in the regular season, and one of those was this year too. So it's interesting, something to watch next year if he gets his command back, or those 4-walk games are piling up.
Really is amazing to have a guy like Clayton Kershaw, who is very easily the best pitcher of this generation, will go down as one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and he's still in his prime.
Yeah.
And then you have just Walker Buehler coming up and just coming onto the scene in the last couple of years. I have no way. He's a highly touted prospect, but just this rookie, just up and just taking the crown of the Dodgers Game 1 start away from Clayton Kershaw, just like that. And just crazy how quickly things change. And now all of a sudden you have the Dodgers with the best 1-2 punch, probably the best 1-2 punch in baseball. I think the Nationals is probably the team that gives the best argument for that. But, I mean, it is really unbelievable how good this Dodgers team is, just top to bottom. We've talked about it a few times as
stolen base
gone from Smith, but he just gets in. That was some throw by Will Smith.
So pointing out the chat, Ryan says that Dodgers have been eliminated by the eventual World Series champion every year since 2016.
So it's very, very good luck to beat the Dodgers in the playoffs as well. Ryan's getting that.
2 of those were in the World Series, but the Cubs in the NLCS, and last year the Nats in the NLCS.
That is really absolutely unbelievable. And it kind of makes some sort of sense. I mean, obviously it makes a lot of sense with the Astros and Red Sox because whoever won that series won the World Series pretty easily. And then you have the Nationals and Cubs. Just like last year's Nationals, I don't think anyone was going to take the Nationals entering that series. But again, it's just everything's a crapshoot. And when you have the pitching that the Nationals had, that 1-3, and the Nationals. I mean, you're a Nats fan. The Nationals franchise is the best indicator of the best team not always winning because
for sure.
They were probably the best team in the NL for like 5 straight years, and they could not get over the hump. They couldn't win a playoff series, and then the one year that they're definitely not the best team in the NL, they win a World Series.
Yeah, the Nats have played in 5 NLDSs since 2012, and the lower seeded team has won each one. So, just crazy.
Yeah, I mean they were the joke of the league for years, and then they and then it just seemed like, oh wow, they really suck. They're not going to be good for a few years now. And then they put together after starting season 19-33 or whatever, and they put together a World Series championship.
Yeah.
That is not the best team in baseball. It's really amazing. And speaking of the Nats, Max Scherzer has 1 more year under contract, I believe.
I think so.
What has probably worked out to be one of the greatest free agent signings ever. I mean,
that was great signing.
32-year-old, 31-year-old, and who was good in Detroit. I mean, he was coming off of a borderline Cy Young year, but
he won one Cy Young in Detroit.
Right?
When he goes into the Hall of Fame, it'll definitely be as a National.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they, he's going to be 38 entering 2021. So I believe that they're not going to give him a long-term deal. But, I was actually looking. The 2021 class has Verlander, has Kershaw, has Scherzer, has a lot of guys. I think there was a couple more that are just kind of like old, and Greinke is there too. That there's going to be a lot of money thrown around in that class, and it's all going to be deals that are less than like 3 years. I mean, less than like 3 years or less. But you're going to see so much money. It's going to be like 3 years at like $150 million for like Max Scherzer. That someone's going to give him. I would 100% bet on that because he's still one of the best pitchers in baseball,
Yeah.
and I don't. And even though his age is getting up there and he's going to lose it soon, who cares about putting a ton of money for a short-term deal? I can
Yeah.
definitely see a lot of money being thrown around that offseason.
And watching him every fifth day, you can definitely tell he's not at that level he was when he won the back-to-back Cy Youngs. But he's still one of the best pitchers in the league, and he deserves a lot of money. Some team's gonna pay him just because having him out there every fifth day, it's incredible.
Those intimidating, two different eye colors,
Yeah.
just far and away the most intimidating thing in sports. Gildy has a sixth strikeout. He's at 82 pitches now, so his pitch count's really gone up there this inning.
Yeah.
So I
I
mean,
think
the Dodgers hope he can get out of this fairly quickly. Didn't get him through 5, but I don't see him coming back out, especially with the no off days. He will have to go. I mean, he can go game 5 on normal rest. So I guess that they'll just do that. But then you obviously lose him for at all if it goes to game 7.
right.
No. He game 5 wouldn't be normal rest. Game 5 would be 3 days. So he'd have to go game normal rest would be game 6. So yeah, I mean,
So I
see if
think
they
on
push him.
short rest, he might be able to, especially if they're down, then you might bring him back for game 5. If they have a lead, then you definitely save him. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
I would agree with that. Riley up again with runners in scoring position, and Riley out again with runners in scoring position as he flies out to Bellinger, and Bueller works out of trouble. So both teams have had a few dangerous spots that neither
Yeah.
have been able to bring any runs across. The only run coming on the Freddie Freeman solo shot in the top of the first inning.
And believe that's the only hit that Bueller has allowed still. But those 5 walks at a new career high, regular or postseason. So he's jamming up the bases, but not with hits.
4 innings, 1 run is 4 innings, 1 run in the end.
Yep. Looks like first pitch, fly ball by, I don't even know who the batter was there.
Big first out for Fried. Just get as many outs as quickly as possible. I mean, now all of a sudden, pitch count's at 58 through 3 1/3, which isn't fantastic, but definitely in a better spot than Walker Buehler.
Definitely manageable. Get a big chunk of the game out, then keep the lead in the bullpen, try to close out if you're Braves here. So there's Will Smith on that fly out. Now you got Bellinger, who is 0 for 1, ground out in the second.
Oof. That free breaking ball is just it's ridiculous. Just drops it in. Seems like every year the Rays have a new ace.
Yeah.
Like it was Sean Newcomb. It was Sean Newcomb who's now like DFA'd, and then it was Mike Voltinowicz who's now DFA'd. So hopefully Fried is not DFA'd after this year.
Yeah, we'll see. They definitely had some inconsistency in their rotation. Bellinger at the plate, he struggled a bit this regular season after his crazy last season. So, and the Dodgers can afford that. Obviously, we talked about with their lineup, but he's still a big piece, and they need him to contribute.
Fried is such a tough lefty, but he kind of breaks up that whole righties want to face lefties because they see the ball better. Blah blah blah. He is tough against anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
It's but definitely looks like balls coming from behind him against lefties as Ballinger inside outs that one foul. Oh, there's a lot of people in the stands.
And one foul ball, and they all go chasing for it and ignoring that social distancing.
Yeah.
Doesn't apply to
6 feet
souvenirs.
apart for the flat foul ball. Merchandise is more important than COVID.
Be interesting to see if the Dodgers even bring Buehler back out for the fifth, because both of his starts this postseason have been 4 innings, which is not what you'd expect from him. But again, another high pitch count today.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's not just pitch count there, but probably trying to get him to avoid that third time through the order that a lot of pitchers have trouble with. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I would assume that like most other pitchers, he's not as good that third time through. And Riley made last out, so he would be facing a Brave lineup that he's definitely labored against third time through as Fried just. That's a perfect pitch that he just triggered Ballinger on.
Yeah.
Up and in fastball, high velocity, and there's really not much you can do with that. And if you don't swing at it, it's a strike. So, I mean, that is a perfect pitch.
Tough matchup for anyone, but especially a lefty, and a lefty who's struggling too. In Ballinger. Let's see.
So Fried threw four at 69 pitches, so he's got a pitch count pretty under control. A bit about 16 pitches per inning at this point, I believe. 69 divided by 4 is 17 pitches per inning.
Yeah. So he's in good shape, go possibly 6 or longer at this point. And just the 2 hits still, I think. So
yeah, he's been
cruising.
Definitely settled down versus Bueller, but in the end, they're still at the point where one swing of the bat can tie it, so not a bad situation to be in if you're the Dodgers. But your bullpen is probably entering the game fairly soon, and now you have to get 15 outs with your bullpen while the Braves look to do it with their starting pitching and Fried, who's can go at least 6, maybe 7 in game 1.
Yeah. And as we mentioned earlier, using the bullpen game 1, big effects on a 7 games in 7 days series.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can find if they're going to the bullpen or not. And so Bueller is out there to start the 5th inning.
Trying to steal a few more outs with their starter before handing to the bullpen. Not that time, so maybe not the third time through problem. Sometimes, I feel like most pitchers do have that problem, but guys who throw harder seem to have that problem a little less. It's the guys who rely on their breaking stuff to get them through games that really struggle the third time through because it's just easier for guys to recognize that those pitches. And a guy like Tanaka or Zach Greinke just are not as good third time through because they don't have 90. Like a guy like Bueller can tell you he's throwing a fastball and you still may not hit it because
Right.
it's 97 miles an hour is hard to hit. But this 1-2-3 of the Braves is definitely a scary inning for Bueller, so he tries to get through it pretty cleanly. Up 2-2 to Acuna. This is well
spot
there.
here. But yeah, talking about third time through stats. So in his career, first time through, opponents with a 551 OPS. Second time, 569 OPS. Third time, 697. So there is quite a jump there. But was punched out Acuna. Nice pitch on the inside edge right there, painted. Now Freeman. He's got the lone hit, lone run for the Braves. Nice pitch by Bueller to get him bounce out.
That's
Close
a
play.
big couple through 2 outs and 7 pitches, so that's huge of him.
Softest hit ball of the night right there by Freeman. So he's got both the softest and hardest hit in this game. The replay just got him there. First base. Close play.
Yep. Got him by half a step.
Yeah. And that's Seager, the shortstop, on that shift, making the throw to first from about 15 feet away.
That's the new baseball.
Yeah.
Ground ball to the right side as the shortstop or third baseman makes the play. Or ground ball to the left side where the second baseman gets an unassisted double play.
That's the quick inning.
So
quick inning that Bueller needed.
Yeah. Got through it in about 8-9 pitches. Huge fifth inning. So you can now come back after the sixth, and it's 3 less outs the Dodgers got to get, but they need to get a couple of runs. So we're halfway done in Arlington.
Is it the first 1, 2, 3 inning for Bueller? I think it might be. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it's not.
Yeah. So definitely trending the right direction, even third time through the order. And, depending on who makes those adjustments, sometimes it's the pitcher that makes better adjustments in whatever game to get the batters out. That looks like what happened here. So Bueller got his 7th strikeout of the game in that inning, which he now has in 9 straight playoff games, 7 or more strikeouts, which is tied for the longest streak of all time with Randy Johnson when he did it in 1997 through 2001.
It's always good company to be with.
For sure. In those 9 games, that's his entire postseason career for Bueller. So he's had at least 7 strikeouts in every game.
The crazy thing about the Dodgers is that, take the Astros for example. I feel like there is some writing on the wall that their years of greatness may be coming to an end. You have Correa, you have Springer's a free agent this year, Correa after next. So and their pitching has been depleted with Cole going to New York, Verlander's out for next year. Yeah. And they're kind of stuck with Greinke. Valdez has looked like he could be there for a while. Urquidy is also pretty good, but there, and McCullers free agent this year. So they're a franchise that has historically not spent much. They've historically tried to not try to keep salary low. I don't know if they will continue that, but there seems to be writing on the wall that the Astros era may be coming to an end. But the Dodgers will never, ever end.
Yeah.
I don't like.
It's ridiculous what they've been able to do
for so long, and now they are back to being the best team in baseball, and their best players are all 25.
Yeah.
I mean, Bueller, Ballinger, they've made coming up. Lux is. And they keep bringing out the top. They have a top 10 prospect every year.
Yeah. It seems like every year they've got a player, top prospect, and NL Rookie of the Year candidate, and just someone new every year.
It's like you just don't see. I mean, Kershaw's really the guy who's been there for the last 7 years. I mean, they just keep building new teams all the time, and they're always just amazing. They're such a well-run franchise. They're fully. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays are just as well-run. It's just that they refuse to spend money. Right. And the Dodgers will spend a lot of money, as shown by the Mookie Betts deal.
I mean, they've got bets for forever there.
Yeah. It's like the Rays keep bringing in these great players and shipping them back out because they don't want to pay them, which is, I think, a problem. They should be paying them. But The Dodgers do the same thing, except they don't have to keep coming up with new guys. Is that hanging curveball to Hernandez fair? Gone. So there
And
goes shutout for Fried.
just as they show the scoreless inning streak, it ends right there. Classic TV broadcast jinx.
So no more shutout streak for the Braves' dominant pitching.
Yeah.
Just that curveball's been working so long, but those breaking pitches are they're tougher, especially a curveball is really tough to throw to when you're facing a righty if you're a lefty, because they can see it longer, and if you hang one of those pitches to Ballinger, I don't know if he's able to turn on it as quick because it's so much more tough against lefty. But Hernandez definitely did not miss that one, as dodged 8-hitter, putting one in the left field
Talk
seats.
about no breaks in this lineup, and there it is. The 8-hitter ties the game up.
Kike Hernandez. So tie game, that's a huge run for LA. Definitely a confidence boost. And after Bueller's big inning in the 5th, smart play by Fried. That play was actually, you rarely see a guy pull back his glove for a ball he doesn't think he can get, which is what Fried just did, because realizing that if he hits that, he probably doesn't field it, and it probably just slows it down, and it's probably an infield single for Taylor. But you rarely see that, because fielding a ball back to the
it's so instinctive, and you're so used to trying to field everything you can to let it go.
It's protection. Half the time, it's like, okay, that ball's about to hit me in the head. I gotta get my glove in front of it. So yeah, it's not even something that you seem like you have the time to think about, but he did there. So ground ball out by Chris Taylor. So 1 out for Fried. He's at 75 pitches, bottom of the 5th inning. Let's take by Mookie. 3rd time through the order for Fried. That's his 0-4-2. Beautiful spot. Fried's able to spot that fastball so well. It really is amazing how, you can throw 98, but if you don't know where it's going, you're not anywhere near as effective as a guy who throws 91 with pitch perfect control. Because 91 on the block is a lot harder than 98 down the pipe.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with how common, pitchers throwing 98, 100 even is these days. Players have been able to adjust to that. You got to be able to spot it even when you're throwing that hard.
His grip on that curveball is really insane. He just his hands are so huge. I don't even understand. Yeah, I only it's like with his thumb. It's a weird grip. It's so sick. Who's that? Yeah, it's not. But honestly, nice to have fans back again. Like we've said before, maybe not the safest or the smartest or anywhere near it. Probably not a good idea at all. But regardless, that is really it's just very nice, refreshing. Looking at highlights from last year and seeing all these fans and all these people just hugging each other, I'm like, what are you doing? It's not the right move. But it's just, you miss it. You really miss that atmosphere of a playoff atmosphere in every pitch. And it can't be replicated with crowd noise at all. It just can't. Regardless of, I know that I think the MLB was getting their crowd noise from MLB The Show. But I think the NFL, what they were doing was they're taking games. So they're taking from NFL films, and they have full games. So they'll take, say, a Bills game against the Jets, and they'll find a Bills game against the Jets from 2016, and every situation they have the noise for. So they have the noise for 3rd and 11. They have the noise for a 4th down conversion, which is really cool because that seems a little more authentic.
Yeah, for sure.
Great play there by Swanson to just get Seager
Close
at
play.
second base. Let's see if they take a look at that.
And then
But
you get an extra challenge in the postseason, so it might be worth to look at it if it's close at all here.
let's see.
Oh no, he's out.
Got him by yeah,
Yeah.
got him. Few inches, but enough. So if he gets out of that inning, through 5 innings, all knotted up at 1. You're in game 1. Definitely, we've gotten the pitching matchup we were promised.
Yeah.
Bueller, I should be coming back out for the 6th. He hasn't been his best, but he's still slinging a one-hitter. The one hit to Freeman is the only one he's allowed today.
Yeah. And looks like we're going to get a good finish here. Solid bullpens, both sides. Good offenses, though. Could see some late big run innings for both teams.
Yeah. We should have an exciting finish on our hands, game 1.
Yes.
Some big baseball news. Billy Beane. I wasn't 100% clear on what is happening, but Billy Beane is not going to return to the Oakland Athletics because he's going to take a job group, which is run by John Henry, but that is not the Boston Red Sox. It is, I think they said it's talking about like a business exec job with Liverpool or
Hmm.
something like that, which
Yeah,
is
I mean, I saw the headline. I don't know anything more than that, any of the specifics, but it's definitely odd.
end of an era. Billy Beane, obviously the Brad Pitt character, probably most well known for outside of the baseball world, but inside the baseball world, just a game changing, and in terms of his influence on the league and in Oakland, he never was able to get that ring in Oakland, but he built some great teams, and he is just an amazing exec for so long. I think he was there for about 20 years at this point. So the end of an era in Oakland, as Betts makes a great play to hold Darno to a single.
Great play by Betts, but Darno continues his post uh, hitting here. Second hit of the game for the Braves. Got something going, looks like.
That is an effortless throw by Betts. Darno hit it pretty hard, but other right fielders may not make that play as smoothly as Betts did. Just fielding it perfectly off the wall, firing in to second, holding Darno to single. That's fouled off by all these. So 98 pitches for Bueller. So this will definitely be his last thing if he's able to get through it. A little surprising the Braves are attacking him early at the moment, which is kind of surprising as he hasn't had that much control of the zone.
Yeah.
Albies chases there. So I get you want to try to find a pitch that you can hit and get because you may not get it again. But against a guy who just has not had too much control of the zone, it seems to make sense to try to take as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with him getting up in the pitch count, doesn't matter. There's an 0-2 base hit.
I mean, I hate the term "good piece of hitting" on a single, but that is a really good piece of hitting by Albies. Like he fully aimed that hit.
Yeah.
He saw exactly where the hole was, saw that they were an overt shift, and just went the other way. And is that Dave Roberts going to get Walker Buehler?
Looks
After
like
he threw
it.
pitch 100. So 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and 5 walks from Buehler, 7 Ks, I believe. So a good start for Buehler, but his day is over. As who was that entering?
I couldn't tell who that was, but
I think it may be Brusdar Gatterall that is looking to
yeah, you're right.
get out of the jam.
So they'll come in with 2 runners on, try to put out the fire. And back to that hit by Albies. Like you said, the term good piece of hitting, whether you should use it or not, but I mean, right there you have to. 2 strikes,
Yeah.
didn't try to do too much, just placed it over defense for a base hit.
So the flamethrower Brusdar Gatterall tries to escape the jam. 5 plus 3 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, 7 Ks to Buehler. The 1 run was a home run, so I'm going to try to find a calculator online real quick. 1 pitch, 1 out for Gatterall, though.
And he's still responsible for both runners on base, so could be up to 3 earned runs.
Just a quick FIP calculator. The 5 innings, 5 walks, 7 Ks, 1 home run is a 2.8 FIP on the day, which is obviously a insanely low sample size, but a not horrible day from Buehler. Probably not exactly what the Dodgers had written up the high pitch count, but regardless, they're able to hand it to their bullpen in a tie game with 2 runners on and nobody out. Got the first out on a pop up, and now he's up 0-1 on Pash, who's hitting in Duvall's spot and has absolutely no chance on that 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah. He said earlier it's drawn 2 walks today, but it's a tough assignment coming off the bench, facing Buehler and then Gratterall here. His first career postseason game. And 3 pitches.
Tough assignment for Pash. Just got blown away.
And with a couple quick outs here for Gratterall, it'll be interesting to see if he gets this out quickly, if he comes back out for another inning. Because I think he was a starter at one point, right? So
yeah,
he could definitely do some long relief to get it to the later innings.
Gratterall seems like a guy that the Red Sox may very much have FOMO about after the original Mookie Betts trade. I believe involved him with Verdugo, and the final one did not. I forget exactly why. I think that it said something to do with Minnesota or something. It's a nice play by Gratterall. So he comes in, throws 5 pitches, and gets 3 outs. Huge by Gratterall working out of that gym. He'll most likely be coming back after the 7th. So 5.5 done.
And Gratterall was with the Twins last season. So.
Oh yeah, that was the difference. There was that the Twins were supposed to give him to the Red Sox, but then the Dodgers wanted him for Maeda. It was some weird thing. But regardless, I remember the original trade. Let me try to find what the original trade was. 1 minute. So the original deal was Maeda to Minnesota, Gratterall and Verdugo to the Red Sox, and then Betts and Price to the Dodgers. And the trade ended up being, drumroll please, Betts and Price to the Dodgers, Maeda and Jair Camargo to the Twins, and Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong to the Red Sox. So the Twins wanted more for... Oh, and the Dodgers also got Gratterall, Luke Raley, and a pick. So it's interesting how this all worked out. It seems like the Twins ended up paying more. I may have not followed it enough, but Twins ended up just adding Camargo, and they still had to trade Gratterall, but they also traded Luke Raley and a draft pick. While the Dodgers traded a little more in Downs and Wong, just kind of and Camargo they also traded. So definitely turned into an odd trade, but regardless, the Red Sox miss out on Gratterall, and they did get Jeter Downs and Connor Wong, but that was some trade. I mean, I still don't think that Wong or Downs or Verdugo or even if they got Gratterall would have made it worth getting rid of Mookie Betts. But when you look at that trade, I think a huge part of it was that you had. I think that if the COVID, the trade happened like 3 weeks before spring training started. It was right on the cusp. But I think that if COVID is not, if they knew about COVID that it was going to be a 60-game season, then and things will be more uncertain. Then I think Betts is not traded by the Red Sox and that he is a Red Sox for life. But I think that Betts electing not to test their free agent waters this year, I believe, has a lot to do with COVID and the uncertainty around everything. He just wanted to get his deal when he could.
Yeah.
So he accepted the deal with the Dodgers that was most likely similar to the offer that he got from the Red Sox. So I think that is probably going to end up being a monumental mistake by the Red Sox because Mookie Betts is the second best player in baseball and is a full on superstar. But it happened.
It's just crazy how something that none of the teams could control or even predicted changed the shape of the entire sport so much. Whether he's, like you said, a lifetime Red Sox or if he's with the Dodgers for the rest of his career, based on something like COVID that nobody knew was going to happen. We got 4, 5, 6 here for the Dodgers against Fried, bottom 6, in the tie game now.
A huge play by a huge, what's the word? Outing by Gladwell, working out of that gym pretty easily, just 6 pitches.
And it's Matzek warming in the bullpen for the Braves. And he's had a pretty good postseason so far, I believe. I don't have the exact stats, but I mean, all the pitchers for the Braves have had a good postseason so far, so it wouldn't be surprising.
Munch chases out of the zone for strike 3. So 8 Ks for Fried. He's at 87 pitches here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Game 1 of the LDS last year. So they could have had the same postseason schedule. I don't understand why they felt the need. I don't know why they need to. It's like the way that on YouTube, the CS and Paxton, it's like, who did that hurt? What if that is 2 weeks of the season? Those So Dustin May is going to be entering for the Dodgers. So yeah, Gratterall just goes 6 pitches. The only reason I know that is because Diamond Digest correspondent Will Arvin, who's at the game, tweeting out some spoilers before the public knows. So obviously May was running in from the bullpen.
Some insider information.
So the horizontal pitching, Dustin May.
And he's another pitcher that throws real hard from the Dodgers. After Gratterall threw an easy 100, he hit 101 there. So a lot of velocity.
Just another example of Dodgers Rays similarities. They just get all these pitchers and just say, okay, here's a guy who can throw 100 miles an hour. Let's try to teach him anything, and then he'll just be dominant.
Right.
Like, once you can throw 100, all you either need to learn, you just need to learn how to throw the 100 for a strike and add one singular okay breaking ball, and then you're a superstar.
And that wasn't just okay. That was a ridiculous pitch right there. The inside edge for the strikeout. I mean,
and then
then
you're someone like Dustin May who hits 100 with horizontal movement and a disgusting slider. I mean, he is something. It looks like Max Fried's talking to Snicker. Looks like his day is over, which is an interesting idea. That's when going to the gap, but there's Betts. May thought that was gone. He did a little hop on the mound, expressing his frustration off the bat. But all good for the Dodgers, as Acuna doesn't get all of that one. So 5 pitches and 2 outs for May.
And the relievers have been much more efficient with their pitchers than Buehler was through the first 5 innings.
Relievers have now thrown 11 pitches for and have gotten 5 outs.
And looks like there's another one. Great inning right there from May.
Yeah. So it ends up being the seventh pitch. Yeah. So it ends up being 13 pitches, 6 outs for the Dodgers bullpen so far. 6.5 gone. 1-1 as the Dodgers bullpen has stymied this Braves lineup. And so did, I mean, I'm not going to say Bueller didn't either. I mean, Bueller was pretty good, but.
And so it looked like Fried was done, right? 6 innings, 1 run. It's the 8th time this year that a pitcher against the Dodgers has gone 6 or more innings with 1 or fewer runs. And the Dodgers have still won 3 of they're 3-4 so far in those games, the Dodgers. When the opponent starter goes 6 or more with 1 or fewer runs, which is ridiculous. But I mean, you can't ask for much more if you're Braves fan.
So now the Braves hand it off to their bullpen and hope that they got some. The bullpen continues its success that it's had all postseason.
Yeah.
It's going to be Martin entering the game. Chris Martin, not the lead singer of Coldplay, different guy. So he is entering the game in the bottom of the 7th inning for Atlanta. So the Astros just announced that Greinke will be starting Game 4, and they'll play tomorrow at 8:40 p.m. with Urquidy on the mound against Yarbrough as they try to make sure that Greinke is not starting with their backs against the wall. Greinke will be going up against Tyler Glasnow, so Game 4 of the ALCS is going to be a matchup to watch on Wednesday. Not that every game isn't, but definitely a high-profile pitching matchup in San Diego. City of Angels.
And like you're saying, it's an important game for the Astros. Don't want to fall down 3-0. I mean, 2-0 is bad enough, but 3-0, it's tough to come back from that.
The Astros will be heading quote unquote home as they'll be the home team for the next 3 games. But yeah, Rays 2 wins away from their first World Series appearance since 2008, and they're trying to win their first World Series in the history of their franchise. I mean, a franchise that has really become one of the most well-run in sports in the last few years. They've just been able to just find these amazing hitters and pitchers as hitting a curveball at Pollock, but that's going to stay in the yard. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Martin. 1's all across the board. 1 pitch for Martin, 1-1 to score, 1 out. Bottom of the 7th, though. So that's not a 1. But so the Dodgers bullpen's been fantastic. Like we said before, 13 pitches, 6 outs. And now in the bottom of the 7th, their offense, who has been stymied by this fantastic Braves pitching staff, look to give them a lead as they enter the 8th. It's Pollock, who just flew out, Hernandez, who just hit a home run his last time up, and Chris Taylor.
It's his first hit for Hernandez in the postseason, the last homer.
Yeah, a bit surprising that they're sticking with him with Martin on the mound. He's been primarily a guy who plays against left-handers. So, regardless, they are going with Hernandez against the righty Martin.
Yeah, but with the home run, it's tough to take him out of the game. So
Yeah, hard to explain away I mean, hot bat, I guess, but
still got
regardless.
Jock Peterson and Edwin Rios on the bench as left-handed bats that you could have brought in the spot.
Most likely just maybe thinking it's a bit early to be forcing that change
Right.
and hoping that Hernandez proves us wrong. Okay.
Good battle here from Hernandez.
2-2 now. Again. He's not going down without a fight, that's for sure. It was the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Jeez. Doesn't Hernandez know that some of us are trying to go to sleep tonight?
8 pitches in the at-bat now.
More pitches this at bat than Gratterall or May threw in their innings of work. It'll be interesting to see if the Dodgers go back to May for the next inning. As like we said, same situation as Gratterall, may not want to use anybody for too many pitches. As Hernandez got under that one, I believe. Yeah, he got under it. So 2 outs here in the Dodgers half of the 7th. May has some head of hair. Just the long, flowing red locks. Beautiful spot by Martin.
It's a nice pitch.
2 strikes on Chris Taylor. Lured by him. So through 7, 1-1. And it looks like May is getting up, and it looks like May's going to go out for the 8th.
Good jobs by the bullpen so far.
Definitely. So both bullpens have now faced 9 batters combined and allowed 0 to reach. It'll be who will it be? So Freeman made last out. So Ozuna, Denard, Albies are due up for the Braves.
3, 4, 5. Which, I mean, not that this is a bad 3, 4, 5, but the heart of the order is more 1, 2, 3 for the Braves rather than what you might think of a normal lineup.
So entering the 8th inning, definitely a pitcher's duel on our hands. Just 2 bad pitches have resulted in the 2 runs. A Freddie Freeman home run to get us started in the 1st inning, and then a Kiki Hernandez shot to left off a hanging curveball by Max Fried tied it up, and that is how we are where we are as we enter the 8th inning.
The curveball was definitely a hanger. That was a mistake. I'm not even sure that pitch that Freeman hit was a mistake. It was just, a fastball. He's a good fastball hitter and drove it out to right field. But, I mean, other than that and some location issues for Bueller, both starters were great. Bullpen top end even better, though.
Definitely a great game on our hands. Yeah, so Dustin May back in the game, which doesn't rhyme, but kind of does. Almost rhyme. I don't know. I'm tired, man. There's a leadoff, what looks like a leadoff double for Ozuna. So finally able to get a base runner off of this off of this Dodgers pitching. So runner on second here at the top of the eighth. So big opportunity for Atlanta.
So
rocking that one over. I believe it's Taylor in center field, or it's Ballinger in center field.
And I've got my volume off of the broadcast, but I place good money that someone's saying they should sacrifice bunt him over, because broadcasters love talking about bunts.
Man, there is such an issue with broadcasters kind of just crapping on the modern game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the analytics works because look at the teams that are here. I mean, it's the teams that believe in the analytics. And then announcers just don't like it.
The analytics don't say to bunt. The analytics say in this situation, you have a better chance of scoring with a runner. You have a better chance. Your total run expectancy goes up if you don't bunt. The expectancy of scoring that one runner from second. So if this was the bottom of the ninth, I'm not 100% against bunting, but it's pretty much the same. Your chances of, because people say and that's not a productive out, as they say, during a ground out to third. But so people say that, well, if you bunt him over, then you only just need a ball in play. But that's not true. Ozuna can run a little bit, not really. He's a pretty slow guy. So the only way he scores from third is a soft ground ball, because the infield's going to be in. So if it's a hard ground ball, the only way he scores from third on an out is a soft ground ball or a deep fly ball. Nothing else scores on an out, or wild pitch, which is not an out. So it's not just, he just put the bat on the ball, because a shallow pop-up, he's not scoring. There's a lot of scenarios where he doesn't score, and all of a sudden now you need a hit. So I am not for bunting unless I'm only for bunting if it's a bad hitter. So Darno in that situation is not a guy you want to bunt with. But if it was right up with Acuna on deck, then yeah, I'm fine with bunting there, because the odds are he's getting out. So may as well get the run over to third with it.
Right. But yeah, I completely agree with all of that. And right now we're in the top of the eighth. You want to play for more than one run. You're not trying to just get that one run in anyway. So
because against this Dodger lineup, well, 1-run lead is nothing.
Yeah.
This is a lineup that's top to bottom power hitters that can easily tie a game. So so a 1-run lead really is just not. You're not playing. You need to, not need to, but you really, really want to score Ozuna in this spot. Obviously, you don't want to waste the leadoff double.
Yeah.
But you would much rather get as many runs as possible than just risking it all just to get one run across, when that run could easily be taken back with one swing of the bat by the Dodgers.
Not playing for one run here. You want to score that one run, but you'd like to score more if possible.
Yeah. If you're the Dodgers in the bottom of the ninth, obviously in a tie game, you're playing for one run. But, this is not the bottom of the ninth. It's the top of the eighth, and you're on the road, and yeah.
And that was the thing with the rule for extra innings this year. When you put that runner on second, no outs, and if it's a tie game in the bottom, what's the strategy? But like we said, it's not that here.
And most teams ended up not bunting in that spot. That's where we saw it with even in a tie game. It just, because in the end, unless you have a bad hitter at the plate, a hitter that you do not trust in any spot, then that's a scenario where you think about bunting. But a lot of these teams have good offenses, and they don't have any hitters where they think of them as automatic outs. So, or some of the hitters that they do think of as automatic outs don't know how to bunt. That's another thing. There are some of these guys who were never asked to bunt in their entire career. If you think a guy like, I don't know, Juan Soto, who's been the best player on every team he's ever played for his entire life, was ever asked to lay down a bunt, You're insane.
Right.
He doesn't know how to bunt. There's a lot of guys in the league who just do not know how to bunt because they're never asked to do it, which is a weird thing to not know how to do, but it's such a dying part of the game that I'm not surprised they don't work on it.
Right.
There are some guys, with that being said, I feel like if you're a guy who gets shifted a lot, you would want to learn how to bunt every now and then just to lay one down if you really need a base runner. There's a disgusting slider by May gets all these swinging.
Almost hit his back leg.
So 2 big outs for May, and Ozuna is still sitting on second base as the go-ahead run and gets through 2 dangerous hitters in Darno and Albies, and now gets to the weaker portion of the Atlanta lineup that is headed by Dansby Swanson, who had a good season, but he had an 809 OPS with it, and he plays great defense, but I feel like he hasn't really panned out as the former number 1 overall prospect, I believe he was.
Definitely, yeah.
But
And they definitely expect a lot more from him, but let's see. Meeting at the mound. Oh, we're getting a pinch hitter here. Pablo Sandoval coming in.
The Panda. Former 3 home runs in 1 game in the World Series. Looking to come through. My goodness, get to your TVs.
There's an intentional walk before that.
This is amazing. Oh, they intentionally walked Swanson?
Yeah.
That's a mistake. You don't want to intentionally walk to face the Panda. What are you doing here? That is
2 runners on
top
now.
Player in baseball. It's like Mike Trout, Pablo Sandoval above him. I don't know if I made that clear. The order I said that. I mean, this is the Panda. Let's see how did he do this year in his tiny sample size over in San Francisco in his return to the Giants. I know he got DFA'd. Former Red Sox who was on Instagram in the middle of the games. What a man. Ooh. Pablo Sandoval had a 287 on base percentage and 262 slugging percentage in the 2020 regular season. Nobody that you'd rather have up right now.
Woba 248.
Woo. Jeez. It's the big hitter.
Take.
First at bat of the postseason. I am all for a Pablo Sandoval home run. And I don't have a rooting interest in this game. I am just fully on board with that. Come on, Panda. Good take, D. Pablo Sandoval running into that fastball and getting on base.
It's a big target, Yeah, a lot of places to hit.
The big man. And
Robert loads the bases. Best scoring
Pablo
opportunity in a
while
while.
chasing Dustin May with a fantastic play to get his elbow in front of that ball. Woof. Nobody better.
Doesn't even have a pad on or anything. Just straight off the skin.
Need it.
Taking it for the team. Oof.
What a man. And that chases Dustin May. Dustin May thinking, what am I supposed to do in that situation? There's nowhere to throw a ball. You have to hit him. It's basically an intentional walk. I mean, nobody better. So Nick Markakis, the vet, is going to come in. It looks like I have no idea who's running in. So you know what? Pablo Sandoval came through. Not the 3-run shot I was hoping for, but he jumps in front of that cutter from May. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out who is entering the game. It's going to be Victor Gonzalez, the lefty. So it'll be interesting to see if Markakis gets the at-bat.
That's true. I'm not sure who's left on the bench for the Braves after they've already used 2 players. But if you're ever going to use someone, now's the chance. Bases loaded in the 8th inning. Let's see, they've got Culberson and Flowers. So I doubt they're going to use their backup catcher here. Could go to Culberson. Though the positions might not work out.
Yeah, so Markakis in the left. I don't think Inciarte is on the roster, so I don't know if they have a backup with Paxton out. I don't know the Braves roster at all. But
Ozuna might have to go into the field unless Culberson can play the outfield, and I'm not sure about that. It's listed as a second baseman.
yeah, let's see. Has Culberson ever gone to the outfield in his career? I'm just looking at the Braves team as of now. Because losing Raleigh, the fourth outfielder was Pash, and he's out of the game, obviously.
He has
I
played
guess
one game, one inning in the outfield in his major league career.
So what they could hypothetically do is go with Ozuna in the outfield and get rid of the DH, and they're all doing Charlie Culberson as a pinch hitter. So the righty is going to go up against the lefty. So it'll be interesting to see how they try to handle the rest. Is their benches all but I don't know how many bench players they had entering today, but they do not have many left. They've used three.
Just the backup catcher.
Was that they only had four on the bench?
Yeah, Flowers is left. He's the backup catcher.
So I don't know if maybe they try Culberson in center field, which seems very risky for a guy who's probably never done it. They could put Acuna in center, and Ozuna in right or left. I mean, I know Ozuna, and that would lose the DH. I actually have no idea how they're going to handle this. It'll be interesting to see how they defensive alignment for the bottom of the eighth, as Gonzalez is going to have a meeting on the mound after one pitch.
Especially if they don't score here, it's going to be a big move.
Yeah.
See if Albies maybe has played in the outfield before.
I think he's played in left.
No, he's a second base. Oh, wait, so I was looking at the postseason before.
For Culberson?
Yeah. In the regular season, he has played some outfield, so yeah, that might be what they're doing.
So that would make sense. Put him in left.
Okay.
For Markakis, who's now in left field. They hope he comes through ground ball. So 2 strikes on Culberson, who's pinch hitting.
MLB's website's annoying because it defaulted to the postseason, so I was looking there. I'm like, wow, he's never played out there. Change it to the regular season, and yeah. So turns out the Braves know what they're doing.
I feel like most of the time these managers, as much hate as fans love to give them, they usually are right. Or at least their moves are not usually from some weird idea of like I'm going to take a guy who's never played the outfield and I'm going to hit him right now.
And put him out there in game 1, a tie game of the NLCS against the Dodgers.
Like, if he had never played the outfield, I just don't think that the lefty-righty matchup in this situation would be important enough to lose your DH, because that is most likely the situation that would have happened. But obviously, that is a non-starter, as Culberson has played in the outfield. So let's see if he can come through here on the 0-2 pitch from Victor Gonzalez, and he gets him swinging. And a scream on the mound by Gonzalez as he walks off. So the Braves waste the leadoff double and probably waste their biggest opportunity.
Leadoff double,
score.
Intentional walk, and hit by pitch. And big pitching by the bullpen right there to strand some runners.
Yeah, this Dodgers bullpen able to come through as Gonzalez lets May off the hook. And now the Dodgers are going to come to bat with the top of their order. So could be a huge turn of events if the Dodgers are able to put a run on the board here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1-1 in Atlanta Dodgers game 1 of the NLCS. Still disappointed Pablo Sandoval didn't hit a ball 400 feet.
They were afraid of him. They had to hit him instead. Like Acuna said, they hit him because they can't get him out.
That is exactly what happened. I mean, It's when he comes to the plate, what is a pitcher thinking? I mean, there's not a place to pitch him. Up and in, he's going to turn on it. Low and away, he's going to go the other way. He is a perfect hitter. I believe he had a 1,000 on base percentage for his career. Don't check me on that. But I mean,
Unofficially stuff.
There are very few hitters in the history of baseball better than the Panda. So it's a smart move to hit him because what else are you going to do? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so here's what's happening on defense. Austin Riley's going from third to left. Charlie Culberson is staying in the game as the right fielder. Pablo Sandoval is staying in the game as the third baseman. And Acuna is moving from right field to center field. Back to center field after he started the game there. So they got it all worked out.
So, just a bit of an alarming statistic. According to AP, about 75% of fans seem to be complying with the mask mandate at this game one. So, it's a capacity of about 11,500 people. So, that's a few thousand people who are not wearing masks at this game one. So, hopefully we're able to keep everyone safe right now, as this is obviously a scary situation. So hopefully that report is a bit inaccurate and more people are wearing masks than we know of, because definitely we want to have fans in these games, but definitely need to make sure that everything is 100% safe for fans that are complying and everybody else, including the players who were supposed to be in the bubble, but for some reason are not.
Right.
So that is a bit alarming, but everyone who's there stays safe. But regardless, it is 1-1 in the bottom of the eighth inning here in Arlington, Texas. Atlanta 1, LA Dodgers 1, and it's a 1-1 count to Mookie Betts, as Chris Martin's in his second inning of work.
So obviously you just mentioned it here, talked about it earlier with the safety concerns of fans in the stadium. But just the fact that first game back with the fans, got a 1-1 game in the bottom of the eighth inning, you couldn't ask for a better game for the first game to have fans this season.
Oh, yeah. We really, really hope that we're able to have fans for a long, long time. I really don't want to go through another one of these fanless seasons. It was weird. I mean, it was so weird just watching playoff games without fans. It's just not the same. Because it can try, but the automated crowd noise cannot replicate the feeling of watching every single pitch and just feeling like your entire life relies on every single pitch. So that cannot be replicated by a video game. So definitely was not the most fun season. But the other thing that would be interesting. So the Lakers won the NBA Finals last night, and they announced that they won't be having the parade until after COVID. Which is a bold thing to say, because we have absolutely no idea when COVID will be over. So it's interesting to see if the World Series does that. We may be in a situation where there are multiple parades at the same time in the same sport.
Yeah.
Where the winner of the World Series next year and this year are having the parade together.
Hopefully it's before then, but you never know.
Long before.
And to your point about the crowd in the postseason, just going back and watching highlights of previous year's postseasons and the roar of the crowd after every at bat, every out, just completely
I mean, and
different.
it's not just like the big moments. Like obviously a home run is
Yeah,
insane, but and being at those games when there's a home run is insane. But even a foul ball, or like
yeah,
when your team, when the home team takes a ball and
yeah.
everyone cheers, like yeah, good eye. Like it's amazing, and it's
Mhm.
disappointing that we weren't able to have it this year. But hopefully, by next year there will be a full crowd of fans, whether you got to wear masks or what. Hopefully, we'll be able to get back to somewhat normal life entering next year.
Already 2 outs here for, I guess, Smith pitching this inning. Made a switch, but
I think I may have said that it was Chris Martin's second inning of work earlier, which was just wrong. It was Will Smith in the game.
yeah, I
I don't know
think
why.
the graphic on the TV had it wrong.
I think it did
So
say Martin at first because that's why I read it. But then I don't know if I wasn't paying enough attention because I just realized that Will Smith was a lefty, Chris Martin's a righty, which would have been impressive of Martin to just switch it up in the middle of the inning. So I'm gonna
that's
go.
true.
I'm just gonna teach myself how to throw lefty, but alas, he did not. It's Will Smith, who is not Will Smith that's playing on the Dodgers, who is not Will Smith that has been an actor for 30 years. Just a pretty common name,
Yeah,
Will and Smith, not a deceptive name. But if Turner and I believe Smith is hitting fifth, so we're a couple
a couple of better
base
away from
runners
this.
away from a Will Smith matchup, which I believe the entire world wants to see. And if the Braves do not bring Smith back out for the bottom of the ninth, if Smith gets through Turner and I forget who's hitting fourth,
Muncie.
I will be Muncie. I will be extremely upset. I mean, I would feel robbed, and that would genuinely be, I mean, unbelievable. Really, really hope that we're able to see Will Smith versus Will Smith. So Smith gets Turner. So unless the
So
Braves bring back Will Smith for the bottom of the ninth, we may be robbed of
yeah,
Smith action. But we head
it's
to the ninth
unfortunate.
tied. Oh, not enough home
Robbed of
run.
robbed of Will Smith versus Will Smith, but not robbed of a good game.
No, no, sir. This has been everything. This has lived up to expectations. Pitching matchup has been fantastic. So I, for one, would like to see a run scored in the ninth.
That would be nice. To not need this game going till 2 a.m.
Yeah, definitely don't need a, 2 a.m. I'm already a bit tired, and I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So not trying to watch a 17-inning thriller, as appealing as that may be. Well, we will see what happens, as I believe it will be Riley, Acuna, and the guy named Freddie leading off the top half of the
Heard of
ninth.
him.
Sinker baller, former A, was non-tendered. And China was probably the best receiver in baseball in 2018. Then 2019 was so bad that they non-tendered him. He went to the Dodgers, been pretty good there. He'll be on the free agent market, maybe searching for his third team in as many years after
Former
this season.
National as well. And
National was traded. I remember, was he traded for Doolittle?
Yeah, he was part of the Doolittle trade with Luzardo.
History buff. 2 strikes quickly on Austin Riley. That sinker is just tough to really do anything with. But, if there's anybody who can do it, it's Austin Riley. Most trusted man in this Braves lineup, bar none. So Acuna's 0 for 4 today. Freeman is, I believe, 1 for 4 with the big fly. The take by Riley. Did he get it? Austin Riley.
Wow.
Being
I was way up there.
That's why I said he's the one trusted guy in the lineup. But, hey, you know what?
What a shot.
How about that? Austin Riley. Best part of October is these heroes will come out of nowhere. It was Mike Brousseau for the Rays during Game 5 against the Yankees. Now it's Austin Riley for the Braves. Puts them up 2-1. How about
I remember Riley as a rookie had a crazy stretch of home runs, but had been struggling, I think, this year. Came through when it mattered most. Big homer right there. So, still 3 outs to get, obviously, in the top, but looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, Dodgers are going to have Muncy, Smith, and Bellinger. Chance to tie the game.
Definitely Dodgers have up who they want, which is basically you can pick any 3 out of this lineup, and I don't think Dodgers too upset. But how about Austin Riley putting him on the board? But now, top of the order for the Braves, they look to get a couple more insurance runs.
That added 34.2% win probability to the Braves on that home run. And, this is what you talked about earlier when you go to the bullpen. If one person doesn't have it, and if that's Strinan today gives up that home run and could change the game, lose the game.
And then a base hit for Acuna. That takes a weird hop, so he's going to be in second with a
down the
double.
line.
Could be a big inning for Atlanta as he hypes up his offense.
So offense coming alive here in the ninth inning. And because of the 3-batter rule, can't pull Trinan here with the 2 hits and a lefty coming up. So he's going to have to face Freeman with maybe not his best stuff. And Freeman looks sad on a couple more runs here.
Did Freeman get that, or you get under that? Oh. Oh.
Just missed it.
To the wall.
406 feet to dead center.
Jeez. See, I thought he pulled that more than he did. He was right on that. I thought that he pulled it. If he pulled it, that's gone. But
Yeah.
dead center field and just takes Ballinger to the wall.
Acuna thought it was gone. Not quite as far as that Tatis one, but almost. Let's see. 104.6 off the bat with the 710 expected batting average on that Freeman shot. So,
that was the 290.
Yeah. And that's the softest hit ball this inning off of Trinan. 109.8, 105.8, 104.6. The 3 balls in play. So it's not fooling anyone.
Big at bat here for Trinan.
Yeah.
If you can get out of this with only 1 run, it'll be a blessing with how hard they've hit him.
And if you're Ozuna and Braves, you got to get another run and just feel more comfortable heading to the bottom of the ninth.
For sure. So in Ronald Acuna, since the beginning of 2019, on balls that were between 24 and 28 degree launch angle and at least 100 mile an hour exit velocity, like that last one was,
Yeah.
But he has had a home run on every single one except for 3. 2 of them were doubles and 1 of them was a single. So you'll have bad luck at this gigantic park.
Yeah, for sure.
That one.
And there's another run. Big ninth inning here from the Braves, trying to steal game one from the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was very, very needed getting that run in. Big play by the Braves and Ozuna, and that is all for Trinan. So Trinan
Got
comes in,
one
does
out.
not do his job, gives up a home run to Austin Riley, a scorching double to Ronald Acuna. Freddie Freeman takes him to the wall, and then Ozuna with a ribby single. And the Braves are 3 outs away from a game one victory. But first, the Dodgers need to get out of the top of this ninth. Bit surprised that the Dodgers didn't go with Kenley Jansen here in ninth.
Yeah,
I
interesting choice.
guess you don't want to. I mean, I guess I understand you want to try to save guys, but it's a 1-1 game. You're at home. It seems like the perfect situation to use your closer.
Yeah, you can't
Kind
really
of,
save guys. You got to get the wins when you can.
yeah, that's the thing. You want to save guys as much as you can, but it doesn't matter who you have for game 6 if you don't get there.
Right.
You know? So definitely, I think that decision is going to be highly criticized if the Dodgers don't come back in this one by Dave Roberts. So another big piece of this Dodgers very good bullpen, although Trinan obviously got blown up, but another big piece of this Dodgers bullpen is Jake McGee, who I believe is the one entering. Although my stream still says commercial break in progress. Nope, we're back. So Trinan obviously a bit disappointed. So it's lefty Jake McGee, believe former Colorado Rocky. They just have top to bottom just good guys in this bullpen. Travis Denard really trying to put some more insurance runs on the board. Maybe even save the Braves their closer if he can put one into the seats. But at the very least, Braves do lead by 2 here on top of the ninth inning with 1 out.
It's got to be tough for Trinan coming in there and just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were saying before. The risky thing about these bullpens is that if one guy doesn't have it, this is what happens. Especially in such a close game. You trust when you have to trust your bullpen to go 4 innings for you. It only takes one guy not to have it, and all of a sudden you're down 2 runs in the top of the ninth, and have to bring in someone else and hope that he has it. So
Yeah.
obviously, it wasn't a bullpen game. They had their ace on the mound, and he pitched. He basically did his job. It's just sometimes a reliever doesn't have it. Just some teams don't have to worry about that. It seems like the Rays. Although even today, Nick Anderson didn't have it. They just were lucky that they were already up by 3 at the point they entered. But if it's a tie game today, in the top of the ninth inning, and the Astros the bases loaded, nobody out, he ended up only one run came out of it. But it only takes one guy not to have it, and something like this can happen. But definitely
Yeah.
a crazy situation here in Arlington as Atlanta leads 3-1. Where they led 1-0 on a Freddie Freeman home run in the first. Then Kike Hernandez tied it up in, I believe it was the 5th inning, or maybe the 4th, and off of Max Fried hanging curveball, who was dominant for Atlanta. And then the score stayed the same until the top of the 9th inning when an Austin Riley solo shot gave the Braves the lead, and then a Marcell Ozuna single gave us the score we have now, 3-1 Braves, top of the 9th inning. I'll be switched to that one. Looks like Mark Melanson is up in the Atlanta pen. So they're going to go with their closer, former Pirate and Giant Melanson. Oh, all these. Left field.
Another one.
4-run game. That is
Wow.
huge. How about that?
Huge inning from the Braves here.
So a 4-run ninth for the Braves.
And the fans are celebrating without masks on.
It was the half mask move. The only cover your bottom lip move.
Yeah.
But wow. How about this 9th inning from Atlanta? They now lead 5-1 in game 1 as Ozzy Albies joins the boom sauce party for Atlanta. Their 3rd home run of the game, 4th home run between the two teams. And they're 3 outs away from a huge game 1 victory. As let's see if they're showing Mark Melanson's reaction.
Did he catch the ball?
I believe he caught it while warming up. How
right
about
to
that?
him.
It'd be interesting to see if they bring Melanson back out. Now up 4, you don't really need to go with their start with your closer, but it looks like he is still warming up.
I think they still go with him just because he's already warming up, and you can't afford to lose this game. I know it's a 4-run game, but, a save is an arbitrary term, right? You just got to get the win,
Yeah.
and you got to bring out your best pitchers.
Honestly, I feel like game 1 is not the game that you're really worrying about not using your pitchers, because it's like the game you want to have a blowout in is games 3 through 5, because you just don't like using guys 3 days in a row. But game 1, you're gonna, if you use them, you use them. It doesn't really change anything for the future of the series. So
right. Well, I mean, you want to blow out whenever you can, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, 4 runs in this inning. Obviously, the question is going to be, why didn't the Dodgers use Kenley Jansen in the top of the 9th inning? I know he's not what he used to be, but he is. I mean, he's a better option than Jansen. Than Trinan. He's still a great pitcher. So that is definitely a interesting move. So 4 runs, 2 home runs this inning, and a Ozuna single. Swanson out, but Atlanta giving themselves a hefty lead to enter the bottom of the 9th inning. So the game entered this inning with thoughts of a 18-inning 1-1 score, and all of a sudden Atlanta's up 5-1, 3 outs away from a huge game 1 victory over Walker Buehler and the Dodgers.
They heard us talking about wanting a 9-inning game, and they're like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Adam, you want to sleep? Okay.
So Trinan now with those 3 earned runs, it's up to 8 earned runs in 8 1/3 innings in his postseason career. So not the numbers you want to see for a relief pitcher, for any pitcher really, but he has struggled in the big games.
Yeah, he has not been exactly a been obviously looking for. But the Dodgers haven't lost a baseball game since September 23rd. Since then, they won their last 4 games of the regular season and have won their 5 playoff games. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is a obviously great Dodger baseball team, and it's a 7-game series for a reason. They're 3 outs away from losing this game 1, but yeah, I mean,
Right.
anything can happen tonight, and anything will happen in these 7 games. It's going to be maybe 7 games. It's going to be a fantastic series between the Braves and Dodgers. We've gotten a great start to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if Peyton's still on. He's going to yell at me for bringing up the Nationals. But Dodgers' last postseason loss in Game 5 of the NLCS last year was also a great Walker Buehler start that bullpen came out in blue when he went 6 2/3 in a run there. Today it was, 5 innings?
Yeah,
1
5 plus, yeah.
So definitely not his fault.
No, I feel like the story will definitely be, the question that will be asked of Dave Roberts is why not Kenley Jansen to start the ninth. There's really, I mean, I don't understand what the possible reasoning can be behind it, because it's you use your best pitcher when you can, because you want to win every game. The playoffs,
Right.
It's a race to 4 wins. It's not that many. So you need to get any win that you can, and this turn of events in this 9th inning, and maybe Kenley Jansen's not what he used to be. So maybe they use him and he does exactly this, and then it's like, well, why didn't you use Trinan? But regardless, this is I think that's going to be the story entering tomorrow, or after during today's post game. Why didn't the Dodgers use Kenley Jansen? And but it wasn't just the one pitch by Trinan. The Trinan and McGee could not get it done, and it led to I think 3 of the runs will go on Trinan, 1 on McGee, because if the only run by the Braves was the Austin Riley home run, you trust this Dodgers lineup more to get 1 run on the board with Muncy, Bellinger, and Muncy, Smith, and Bellinger. By the way, Atlanta scoring there robbed us of Will Smith versus Will Smith. So hopefully we get at some point in this series, but that is extremely disappointing. But nonetheless, those 3 extra runs by Atlanta were huge.
Definitely, for sure.
I mean, not letting the Dodgers tie with 1 swing of the bat. Now they have to work and get they have to get 3 base runners on before they can tie with 1 swing of the bat, is just obviously game changing. But 1 quick out for Melanson as he got a ground ball by the guy with the name, and the name is
Max Muncy.
Max Muncy. Yeah, that is the nice scribble ball there by Melanson. Hello, Mr. Scribbles. I don't know who that is, but he. That's on the ground to third. The big man, Pablo Sandoval, with a dot to first.
Cross the diamond.
Doing his job. Gold glove fielding once again from the Panda. Love to see that. So the Dodgers down to their final out in Game 1 of the NLCS.
Kind of crazy. I mean, going into the 9th inning, Braves hadn't scored since the 1st. And Dodgers had tied it up. Seemed like the Dodgers had the momentum. And then all of a sudden, Trinan comes in, gives up homer, double, and a couple more runs, and here we are.
And the only out he recorded, or did he record? Yeah,
he only got 1 out.
Recording was a long out that Freeman took.
Yeah, that's true.
To the wall. So
1 out had a .710 expected batting average on it. So
Right. So now 0-2 pitch to Cody Ballinger. Dodgers down to their final strike in game one. Obviously not anywhere near a decisive game, but a fantastic thriller we've had on our hands. Was 1-1 entering the eighth. Entering the ninth. Then a 4-run knock by Atlanta. 2 quick outs for Melanson. And now here we are. Bellinger down to his final strike. But he'll stay alive and see another pitch. I'm feeling like a line drive to Pablo that he dives and makes the play on. That's just the way I see this game ending. But instead, it's a ground ball to short, Swanson, Freeman. A game one
And
for Atlanta.
yeah, that's it. What a game by the Braves.
9-inning game.
They needed that.
And we get a thriller. Yeah, this was a huge win for Atlanta, taking one, quote unquote, in LA. So This was a fantastic game. Atlanta is 3 wins away from the World Series for the first time since, I believe, 1996. Yeah, I think so, at least. Maybe wrong, but I believe 1996. So, yes, this was very fun. Thanks, Matt.
Yes,
Thanks,
for sure. Thanks for tuning in.
And yeah, I believe we are all set in Los Angeles or in Arlington. First game with fans is a successful one. So, all right. See you, Matt.